This is number 8 in this row of documentations, and welcome. As I speak, I have not yet decided if I will release this, because I'm not quite sure whether I will be able to make my point clear. And if we had a zoom effect, I would put my face completely into the camera and be very, very confidential here, because I'm not now trying to explain even deeper why I'm doing this and what's going on. This is not a serious documentary in order to make a piano lesson tutorial where I recommend that you don't practice and do something else instead. I think it's wonderful if you are able to practice your instrument or whatever you do. My problem is that I'm not able to do that, and therefore this is not a documentation of learning the piano. This is documentation of the self-healing abilities of the human consciousness, a demonstration of something I have written about, which I have said before. And I'm constantly fighting a demand that I think is there in the air or somewhere, that I should be able to play more and more notes with more and more security. Well, I can do that also, but this is not the way it goes. What's happening is that I'm gradually being more and more aware of my body and my arms. I remember when I was a soldier, and the whole platoon had to take off their gloves in frost because one person had forgotten the gloves, and my mother told me, think your blood into the hands, and this I did, and this actually helped. So if you can imagine that there's some energy streaming into the hands which have been blocked somewhere, and then this blockage is slowly lifting, then I'm able to play the way I can play. This means, of course, that I'm not starting from scratch without any kind of talent. I am able to play the piano, but this has been covered up, and I'm not now digging it out. And this means that what happens is that the most predominant thing is an increase of sound and ability to play even more fortissimo and with even more overtones in the single notes. And with this comes an ability to control the chords, the balance, and also I would maybe try to demonstrate that I can move my hands much quicker. There's still a lot of notes that are not hitting right, and I will make the usual blunders because I can't practice that. Each time I'm successful in, for instance, making one phrase being almost without blemish, then my awareness of my physical body increases because of this healing process of the human mind, which means that I have to use the day after complete different muscles, and I have to do it all over again. This, I know, will in the end lead to that I will be able to play the piano as I know I can do that, and that does not mean that I can play some works. I will be able to play everything. And this is not a preposterous thing to say if you can do it. I can't do it now, and therefore it might seem preposterous, but I know that I can do it, and I'm slowly taking the obstacles away. And today I have no complete works or finished things I can show. I will play the things I normally play on these videos, and I will try to illustrate the progress, which is some kind of sound power, sound variety, ability, and with this comes a freedom of expression. And this freedom of expression sometimes carries me away. So I become so emotionally involved with the thing that I'm playing that I suddenly can't play that. Well, I know this can happen to even professional musicians. A friend of mine once played the fugue of the Beethoven Hammer Clavier Sonata on a recital, and he suddenly started to cry because he made it, and then he got stuck in it. I'll try and play different things and try to explain what's happening. This time I think I will begin with the piece of the Liszt sonata that I'm always hammering through. And this time I believe you will be able to hear that there's more sound, there's another freedom of expression and more agility, but it's coming from within. I can't practice that. The octaves in the beginning, where I normally start this piece, you will hear that not even can I hit more of these, but this time with more sound as well. So the reason why I'm hesitating until now to publish this is that I'm not quite sure whether it will be clear for the viewer what I'm actually referring to. And also something which I should say. In the build-up of the human consciousness, you have layers like dating back, like if you dig down the earth to different levels of different kind of stone and oil and sand and whatever. And some of these layers are harder to get through than others. And today I feel what I can only call a violent resistance to what I'm trying to say. The resistance I can feel in my body, my emotions, and it has something to do with an allegation that I am not allowed to do this. I'm not allowed to choose this road into playing the piano, because what I'm actually saying is that it is more important for you to live your life than to play the piano. And what I'm also saying is that communication is essential if you want to communicate on an instrument. So if you in your daily life do things where you have to close off communication in order to do it, you will ruin your ability to express yourself on an instrument. And I'm not quite sure whether I told this. Once I was to a conference in Rochester, New York, where they had a lot of investigations into musicians' habits. And we were in the audience. I also gave a lecture myself on the Wagner Ring, and we were able to place questions. And I asked whether the students were asked about their sexual habits. And the person who took out this note from me, I didn't sign it. Nobody signed these questions. Thought this was a joke. But if you in your daily life has a relationship where you practice sex with a person in a situation where you have to close down your communication with yourself or with the person, in order to do that, you are actually destroying a lot of communication abilities as such. And taking such a thing as what you might call moral into the world of the piano might seem completely insane, but it's not, I promise you. Everything you do with your body has an effect of your ability to communicate with your body. And if you have physical problems, which are not, we're not talking about damages which can't be repaired, then, as I have studied the over 50 years, not even the human mind, but also the human body have self-healing abilities. What you have to do is you have to stop being destructive or self-destructive when you speak and when you act in your behavior. So I have that's a long story. I've written about that. I've learned this the hard way, that you can completely cover up all your abilities to express yourself. And now I have turned this heap upside down, and now I'm recovering. And this recovering process has its own secrets, its own way, and this is what I'm trying to illustrate. So maybe you can hear in this there's that I can make more sound, I can hit a little bit more precise what I play, and I have a better communication between my own emotions and what's actually coming out. So that music for me no longer is a question of sound structures or sound architecture, but it's a language, so that you can talk with music to other people. Well, let me try this. Resistance in me is violent, but I will do it anyway despite this resistance, because I won't give in. try once again. It's not maybe it's not possible to hear, but I have some kind of contact with a real essence of what I can do. That everything within me that has been put in there to block me is screaming, you can't do it, you can't do it, you can't do it. And you can maybe hear from that it doesn't matter that I practice. What I have to do is to continue believing in my own ability to play the piano and to allow myself to do it. Maybe you can already hear that there are some changes, but now I played a lot of mistakes in places where I normally don't do that. I think I will take this whole thing once again. Maybe I can come closer to what I can actually do. So this might end with being a video where you can really sense the struggle that I'm going through. And if I release this, then it will be because it might one day be interesting to look back and see what was that all about. Why is this happening? And I promise you, yesterday I played this without a problem and with even more sound. But I'm not nervous, but I think I have reached a point, a border, where in just a little while I will be very convincing. And it says something about traumas, that you can have something in your subconscious which you are not aware that these traumas are actually controlling parts of your everyday. But when you reach the border where you should take one step and then you're free of these, they will show their entire resistance possibility. And you have to take one more step. And I do this, I think that I will actually release this, because to do that is a step. I'm not embarrassed of that I can't play, because I want to show the struggle. I will give you four more examples, only a few. The two Chopin ballads, I've also reached much more variety of personal expression and ability to actually play. I just ended here. Also this time I made more mistakes than I usually do, but I think it's very strange to feel the courage to go directly into the resistance. I should, all common sense would say, give up and not publish this because I'm having a bad day, but I'm not having a bad day. This resistance in my subconscious is having a bad day, or the dragon has been awakened, or something like that. Let me try also with the F major ballad, and also here you will be able to hear that there's more freedom of expression and a broader sound in the Presto con fuoco passage. Still with a lot of mistakes, but it's growing from the inside, and to follow that is sheer bliss, actually. Well, now that I'm already making all the blunders, I feel tempted just to show a little bit of the beginning of the Liszt sonata, where I'm having fun trying to get some of these passages right in the beginning, and well, I can do it. I don't take it from the front. That was a bad example. Just like that. So what's happening is also that I'm gradually able to move my fingers faster. That doesn't mean I'm hitting the right notes, but if I give you an example of this Chopin study opus 10 number 1, with probably not one single tone right, what you can see is my ability to move the fingers are increasing. It's there, and I think I will just finish this and made it a little bit briefer, and playing the Wedding on Trollhagen. And again, here you might hear me make mistakes I usually don't make, but I'll play it anyway because there's new sounds, and I love these sounds. And well, I'm not complaining actually. I love this struggle, and I love that it's possible to prove that the human conscious is self-healing, and that even if you have had abilities of yours buried under solid rock for 50 years, it might turn have we enough time in the camera to play this? We'll do that. thank you for participating on my journey.